All over town, telephones are bringing people together.
Bradford's Jewelry? May I speak to Mr. Bradford, please?
Thank you, Mrs. Chase. I'll have the order over in about an hour.
Hi. Going to the dance? My town gym. Sure.
Arnold speaking. Why, hello, Pete. How's things in my town?
That's no way to answer the phone, Susie.
Hello, Matthew's residence. This is Jimmy. Just a minute, please.
Uncle Bill, Captain Adams wants to talk to you.
Thanks, Jimmy. Hi, Captain. This is Bill. No, we don't usually have ducks answer the phone. That one belongs to Susie. My niece and nephew are visiting me, and I promised to take them on a picnic. Oh? You need that posted today?
If it doesn't stop, there won't be any picnic.
We don't...
Cracker likes it? Yeah, it's great weather for ducks.
Oh, sure. Glad to do it. Bye. Captain Adams wants this poster I've done for him delivered to him at police headquarters today. I'll drop it off on our way to the park. Good thing I got that phone call. If he hadn't reached me, I wouldn't have gotten it.
I never thought about that, Uncle Bill.
You never thought about what?
What did people do before the telephone was invented? How did they get messages to each other in a hurry?
Well, while we're waiting for the rain to stop, let's see if we can't find out by playing make-believe.
Oh, good. That sounds like fun.
Now, here's our friend. We'll call him, Mr. Man. He's going to take us back thousands of years, way before telephones or televisions or Telstar.
He looks a little like you, Uncle Bill.
He looks a little like all of us, Jimmy. You ready, Mr. Man?
Man has played many parts during the years he has lived on Earth. So let's make believe we're going back in time.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago?
That's right. When man lived in caves and hunted for their food.
Found a herd of buffalo.
At last, meat for supper.
Run and tell the others to bring weapons, or else supper will run away.
The only way Mr. Caveman knew how to get a message from one place to another was to send a runner. As civilization grew, man's way of life changed. But he still used runners to send messages. The Egyptians used runners. It took 2 days for a Greek runner to bring the news of a great victory.
He is getting tired.
He discovered he could ride horses. The Romans used horses. So did the knights.
That's a Pony Express rider.
That's right. But man wanted to send messages faster than a runner or horse could travel.
He's sending an Indian smoke signal.
Right. But only the simplest messages could be sent this way. And none at all if it rained. He learned to use flashing mirrors by daylight and blinking lights when it was dark.
He couldn't send messages very far that way, could he?
No, Jimmy, he couldn't. But man has always been able to solve his problems by inventing new things.
That's a telegraph message.
Yes. About 125 years ago, Samuel Morse invented the telegraph, a way to send code messages over an electric wire. The code was made by using different clicks for each letter of the alphabet. First message sent over 40 miles of wire was, "What hath God wrought?" The telegraph was, and still is, wonderful. But Mr. Man wanted to send his voice over a distance, to carry on a real conversation. Then in 1876, a man named Alexander Graham Bell found a way. He invented the telephone.
Hey, that's your phone, Uncle Bill. Hello, Matthew's residence. This is Jimmy. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Yes, we got here before the rain started. Uncle Bill's going to take us on a picnic if it lets up.
Fine.
We're playing make-believe. I'll tell you about it when we get home.
Good.
Okay, Mom. Bye. What are you doing, Susie?
She wanted to hear the voice going through the wire.
You can't hear voices in the wire.
Well, how does it work? How'd your mother's voice get in the phone?
That's simple. That's funny. I don't know. I never thought about it before. We were talking as if we were in the same room. How does the telephone work, Uncle Bill?
Magic?
No, not magic, Susie, but science. Science of sound waves and electricity.
How do they work?
We'll let Mr. Mann show us.
We'll pretend now he's a musician. All sounds come from a movement of the air, back and forth, like waves.
I don't see any waves.
See the string move back and forth?
I have seen strings and rubber bands move back and forth, but I've never seen a sound wave.
Well, you can't really see them, you hear them. If you could see them, they'd look like this.
Different kinds of sounds make different kinds of sound waves. A low sound makes a different wave than a high sound.
Hey, Rudolph, that's the wrong note.
You see, people's voices make sound waves too. When we speak, air from our lungs moves vocal cords like these in our throats.
Hey, Rudolph!
This movement makes sound waves and sends them out of our mouths.
Hey! Hey!
When sound waves reach the ear of another person, they make the drum in his ear move back and forth, and he hears the sound the other person is making. And he hears the sound the other person is making.
I see. But how do you hear over the telephone?
We're coming to that.
When Mr. Mann speaks into the telephone, the flow of electricity in the wires makes it possible for the other person to hear what Mr. Mann is saying, just as quick as a flash.
But how?
Well, when he has dialed his friend, and his friend Rudolph answers, the flow of electricity in the wires connects Mr. Mann's telephone through the telephone building to his friend's phone.
Oh.
Rudolph!
Mr. Mann's vocal cords make sound waves which go into the mouthpiece of the telephone. These sound waves make the electricity flow stronger and weaker, depending on the sound waves his voice makes. Remember now that the flow of electricity is changing from strong to weak as it comes from Mr. Mann's telephone. These changes work on the receiver very much the way sound works on your eardrum. The electricity makes a little metal plate vibrate. This vibration makes sound waves come out of the receiver. And so, in a split second, the person on the other end of the line hears the same words Mr. Mann is speaking. And what he hears sounds just like Mr. Mann's voice.
Rudolph! I said that's the wrong note.
Ah, Susie, you shouldn't play around with the telephone. Somebody may be trying to... You see? Somebody was trying to call us. Bill Matthews. Would you repeat that slowly, sir? Well, you must have the wrong number. What number are you calling?
It's Mabel over there.
Well, not so loud.
Oh, Susie, doesn't Mabel Marble live there?
I'm sorry, but this is 555-3759. I shouldn't lose my temper, even when people roar into the telephone at me.
Always talking.
It's a good thing animals don't talk on the
Say.
telephone.
Let's pretend we're at a talking animal circus. Mr. Mann can be the ringmaster,
Sounds like fun.
There we are.
May I draw this whip?
Sure.
Whiskers?
Here. All set, Mr. Man?
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the greatest, the most sensational talking animal act the world has ever heard. Introducing the lion and the mynah bird.
Miss Myrtle Minor Bird speaking.
How are you?
Please don't roar at me.
What did the lion do wrong, Jimmy?
You don't have to shout into the telephone to be heard.
That's right. Just use your normal speaking voice and speak directly into the mouthpiece.
Sorry, Myrtle.
Presenting the impatient squirrel and the sleepy bear.
Watch, Jimmy. When you dial, you should make sure you bring your finger all the way around to the finger stop. Then for each number, let the dial go all the way back by itself. Each number, all the way. Then let go. See?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Hello? Now I wonder who that was. Yeah.
He waited too long.
Right. He waited too long to answer. But if you're the person making the call, you should let the phone ring 8 to 10 times. See? Both of them are disappointed.
And now, the preposterous pachyderms. In other words, elephants.
So like I said, I wanted to invite you to a party.
Smarty? Who are you calling a smarty?
No. I said I'm giving a party at my house.
Mouse? Don't you call me a mouse.
What is the matter, Jimmy?
Hello?
I know. It's important to speak clearly on the phone so the other person can understand what you're saying.
Right again, Jimmy.
And now, for our grand finale, the gossipy piggy and the fed-up fox.
Well, guess who was there? Betty. So I said to her, well, how is it every time I go to a sale, I run into you? It's just the funniest thing. Oh.
Excuse me, lady, but I've been waiting to make an important call for 25 minutes.
But I simply must tell Irma about my new hat. Well, now, as I was saying before I was interrupted,
It's selfish and impolite to hog the phone. Somebody may be waiting to use it or trying to call your house.
See, that was fun. Nobody's being selfish on Bobby's phone. I'll call him to see if he's coming on the picnic. No answer.
You sure you dialed the right number?
Well,
Better look it up.
I'm not sure I know how.
Oh, that's easy. Let's let Mr. Man show us. Now, what's Bobby's last name?
Martin. Robert Martin. We call him Bobby.
What's his father's first name?
His name is Robert.
Oh, Mr. Man is ready.
Attention. Robert Martin, front and center. Telephone book formation.
In the telephone book, the last name always comes first. Like that. Martin Robert.
Okay. Suppose his name was Raymond.
Let's see. A comes before O in the alphabet. So R-A of Raymond comes before R-O of Robert.
I know.
And the telephone book is arranged in alphabetical order, as in the dictionary and the encyclopedia, where we look up words and facts.
Raymond Martin, telephone book formation.
How about Roger Martin?
You try it, Jimmy.
Let's see. All the letters are the same up to this point, but the next ones are different. In the alphabet, we see that G comes after B. So Roger is listed after Robert under the Martins in the telephone book.
That's right, Jimmy. Good.
Roger Martin, telephone book formation.
Now, what if his name were Robert Mayer? M-A-Y-E-R. Remember, the last name comes first in the telephone book.
Well, May comes after Mar because Y comes after R in the alphabet. So Robert Mayer would be after all the Martins in the telephone book.
Right again.
Now I can do it. Here it is. Martin and Robert. 22 Montrose. The number is 555-2368.
Be sure and write it down.
All right.
Telephone book is very helpful. Our friends are in it, like Robert Martin. Our doctor is in it.
The television repairman, the bicycle shop.
Then in this little book, I write down the numbers of people I call often. You should have one too, Jimmy. Saves a lot of time to keep the phone numbers of people you call often. Like your friend Bobby.
Oh, yes. Hey, look, the sun's out. Now we can go on our picnic. Hooray! I'll try to call Bobby again.
Well, tell him to meet us in front of the police station at 2:30. That way we can drop off the poster for Captain Adams.
All right. Hello, Mrs. Martin. This is Jimmy Matthews. May I please speak to Bobby? Thank you. Don't forget to bring your ball and glove.
Hi, Tom.
Hi there.
Children, this is Captain Adams.
Hello, Captain Adams.
How are you today?
Fine.
I want to be a policeman when I grow up.
She wants to be everything when she grows up.
Here's the emergency poster you wanted.
Thanks.
I think Jimmy and Susie would like to know how valuable the telephone is in emergencies.
Good. You come inside for a minute and I'll show you. Now, the telephone helps us because it lets us know right away when we're needed and how, when, and where we can help people.
How would I call the police if I needed them?
This poster your uncle made will show you how. We want to use this to show children how to get help. In an emergency, you dial 0 to get the telephone operator. Be sure you hear the dial tone first. Remember?
Yes, sir.
A 0 is the last hole on the dial. Now, see? Be sure you bring the dial all the way around to the stop. Then remove your finger and let the dial go back. Now, you dial 0 once, and the operator will answer.
Then what?
Then you say, "I want a policeman, please," and the operator will connect you with the police station. Now, when somebody like the sergeant here answers, you tell him who you are, where you are, and why you're calling the police.
Police station, Sergeant Evers. Station, Sergeant Evers.
My Linda's lost.
Oh, that's too bad. May I have your name and address, please?
Mrs. Jane Hoskins.
Mm-hmm.
42 Barton.
And your phone number?
555-1029.
How old is Linda?
5.
5.
Yes.
Where did you see her last?
In our front yard.
And how long has she been missing?
Half hour.
And what was she wearing?
A sort of strawberry pink dress and a yellow cotton sweater.
A pink dress and a yellow sweater.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mrs. Hoskins. Don't worry. We'll find her and let you know as soon as we do.
Oh, hurry.
Yes, ma'am. Goodbye.
Thanks, Sergeant. Now, see how careful we are to write everything down? Pardon me.
Yes, sir.
Get out an all points bulletin. 5-year-old girl lost. Linda Hoskins. Last seen on Elm Street. Here's a description.
Sarge, this is Officer Jensen, 6th and Elm Street. That's what I'm calling you about. She was all alone, looking in a toy store window. Oh, sure, she's fine.
Good work, Officer Jensen. We'll have a car to pick her up right away.
See how the telephone helps us do our job? Call Mrs. Hoskins and tell her we found her little girl. Over here at the window, I want to show you something. There it is, the telephone building. In many ways, it ties the community together. When you dial a number, this equipment inside the telephone building automatically connects you with the person you're calling, whether he's across the street or miles and miles away. Thousands and thousands of calls go through here every day.
This is Riley's Dairy. We need 50 pounds of butter.
50 pounds
Thank
of
you.
butter.
The fire department needs the telephone as much as we do.
I'm sure of that. Well, thanks a lot, Captain.
Not at all. Thank you for bringing the poster. Have fun, everyone.
Goodbye. It's after 2:30. I wonder where Bobby is.
I'm sure you'll be here soon.
Like Quacker.
Jet plane flies a lot higher and faster than Quacker.
Can telephones reach up into the sky?
They
All
can and
over
they do.
town, telephones are bringing people together.
Bradford's Jewelry. May I speak to Mr. Bradford, please?
Thank you, Mrs. Chase. I'll have the order over in about an hour.
Hi. Going to the dance? My town gym. Sure.
Arnold speaking. Why, hello, Pete. How's things in my town?
Like the operators who handle telephone calls in my town. Here in the central office, you can feel the pulse of the community. The flashing lights on the switchboard reflect the activity of the town.
Thank you.
It begins to stir in the early hours of the morning.
Your name and number?
It reaches its peak in the rush hours of daytime,
That's Pennsylvania Place. Thank you.
and then settles back for the night. It's the job of the traffic department to handle this changing volume of calls. It has to be ready with enough equipment and enough operators, 24 hours a day, to meet the customer's demands for service. From the earliest days of her training, every operator learns to think of her job in terms of service to the community.
This is information. May I help you?
Yes, I'd like the new number of Wilson's Meat Market, 1191 Sycamore Street, please.
One moment, please. The number is Right 56240.
Right 56240. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Operator.
In addition to supplying information, operators put through all kinds of calls, many of them to out-of-town points near and far. And for each call they handle, they record the facts needed to accurately bill the customer. the calling number, the place called, and length of the conversation are all noted for use by the accounting department. Sometimes, an operator handles calls that are more urgent than others.
Operator?
Operator, there's been a bad accident. 2 cars head-on. Please get a doctor and an ambulance.
Can you give me the address, please?
It's right outside my house. Old Woods Road near Van Dyke. Hurry, please.
Thank you. We'll get help to you as fast as possible.
Thanks.
Can we look forward to?
Well, Unc, in the years ahead, the telephone of the future will be an even more prominent and versatile part of our lives than it is today. Take a typical day in the life of your great-grandnephew, Cordell. It's a spring morning as we look in on his home. Cord, who's an executive with an interspace engineering company, kisses his wife, Pat, and their 2 children, Prince and Junior, goodbye, and leaves for the office. A soundproof room attached to the house. Without the problems of commuting or traffic jams, he's ready to start work in a matter of minutes. There's an intercontinental business conference. A touch of a button, and picture phones bring the conferee together. In seconds, company executives located around the world are deep in discussions over business details. Even printed material is exchanged among the group by telephonic machines, as if they were all in the same room. The conference over, Cord picks up a waiting telephone call that rings as soon as his line becomes free. On the other side of the house, Junior is getting help with his homework. The program comes from an education center and is carried on a special TV circuit via telephone guide, a hollow tube that can carry hundreds of television programs and telephone calls at one time. Later in the afternoon, Pat is browsing around a dress shop on her picture phone. A design in the new spring colors catches her eye. It's just what she could wear to the Bennetts for dinner. Oh, dinner. It's almost that time. Later in the evening, Cord and Junior watch a real World Series game, being telecast from Tokyo via communication satellite. The North American pennant winners are East League champs, the Tokyo Samurais. More interested in culture than sports, museum of modern art that's showing typical examples of movies, late shows, and the movies will be easier than telephonic communications.
Sounds great, my boy, but isn't it a bit fantastic?
Not at all, Unc. In fact, the data phone system is already in use. It's one of his engineers at an outer space construction job. The project has been hit by a derelict rocket. Plans for removing the rocket and repairing the damage are worked out between Cord and the space project by a telephone conversation. Now, that's carried through space on a thin rod-like beam of invisible infrared light projected from an optical maser. Operating on no more power than an ordinary light bulb, the optical maser will be able to carry hundreds of thousands of telephone calls and television programs all at one time on a single beam of light. Equipment and materials needed to do the job are ordered over an advanced data phone system, which reads the recorded information and transmits it to the data receiving center. Here, a data phone receiving unit duplicates the ordering information, which is fed into data processing machines and electronic computers. The processed information on the ordered items is then data phoned to the correct manufacturing, assembling, and shipping points around the world. And Princess is still playing outside with her friends on their helicycles. But her wristwatch radio telephone makes it easy to call even young teenagers home for dinner.